Good day, folks. This is Greg Judy at Green Pastures Farm. Today, I've got Ben and Isaac here. We're going to actually show the details on our water skirt that we built. This is a different pond than we were showing earlier, but we'll show the completion on the other pond as well when we get it done. But this one was closer to the road, and so we just started right here on this pond. And I wanted Ben and Isaac to kind of talk a little bit about the what they're standing on here. This material, what do we got there? Start with you, Isaac. What's the underlayment look like?
Underneath us, what, about 2 feet is this?
Yep.
What, 10 inch to 8 to 10
6 to 8.
6 to 8 inch rock. We got that in as a base to kind of keep everything from sinking.
It's like a foundation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then Ben, what's on top of that?
It's 2 inch.
2 inch rock. Okay.
2 inch rock on top, and that's big enough where it doesn't really feel super comfortable on their feet, the cattle's feet, so they probably won't be hanging out around here. They'll just go get a drink and then
get out.
Because it doesn't feel good.
Why would? Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Why wouldn't they want to stand here? It's uncomfortable.
If it was smaller, it'd probably like pack down really tight, and
Like walking on concrete.
They feel totally fine just like standing here all day. But
so for those of you all that didn't see the part 1 and part 2, part 1 was putting down the underlayment, the big stuff. Then part 2 was coming back and putting in the 2 inch, and the whole process of how Johnny dug this all out. And then part 3, which we're covering today, basically, I want y'all to kind of go over our skirt, the limited access. In other words, what's keeping those cows from going out in that pond and taking them a dip?
Yeah, so we've
start with you, Isaac, and then Ben, I'll let you kind of finish.
You can talk about the slide.
Yeah, that was a really good idea.
So we've got a 10 by 20 foot, whatever you'd call it,
skirt.
Yep. That's made out of 1.5 inch PVC. It's made so just like the specs on it. There's 8 T's.
8 T's coming up. Okay.
There's 10 caps.
Why do you got caps on it for?
That's to keep the rain out of it so it doesn't sink. And
looks like you drilled a hole right through the cap.
Yep, that's where our wire's going through. And
so
then we've got 4 elbows.
So that wire, is that just a piece of wire, or what is that?
Nope, there's 10,000 volts on that wire. That's,
what do you mean 10,000 volts?
That's to keep them from
jumping
in the water.
What does that thing show? Oh my gosh, 10,000 volts.
10.1.
Oh, 10,100 volts. So
yeah.
that's hooked into the wire that goes all the way around the pond, keeping the animals out and keeping our. Look how clean that water is. And this is an old pond. So go ahead. I didn't even interrupt you.
No, you're good. So then, yeah, the theory is it's going to be able to float up and down with the rising water in the spring, and then if we get into a drought, it'll be able to sink down. And the wire spacing, it's 12 inches above the PVC.
Those risers are 12 inches. Okay.
So that kind of that's the distance we decided. Like we kind of made this on our own. Like you had the idea, and then we kind of just adjusted as we went.
Folks, I did. I left the boys yesterday. I had to go do another project, and I intentionally stayed away until I got a call from Ben. He's like, "We're done." I'm like, "Cool. I want to come see what y'all did." But they explained what they were going to do, and I loved it, and I just let them go with it. So. With that, Ben, I want you to explain our up and down. What allows that thing to float up and down?
So we were trying to brainstorm, like how do you secure the skirt and keep it, either if the cattle try to nudge it, or if there's a big windstorm or a lot of rain and there's stuff pulling it back and forth. How do you keep the skirt from floating out into your pond or flipping over or something like that? And then not only that, but it has to be able to come up and down as the water level goes up and down. And so we figured out, well, why don't we just drive 2 fiberglass rods? And you can see there's some on the sides. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 on the sides there. And then there's another 3 pairs going across that horizontal piece.
So that pipe can come up a total of a foot if it wanted to.
Yeah, it's definitely probably a little bit overkill, but you don't want it floating all the way up.
Right.
And then loose from your.
So you've got a big bobber out there.
Yeah, and there's enough play in each of the corners in the spacing where it's not right up against the PVC pipe. We got about 1 inch or so on either side, so it can move back and forth
a little bit,
pretty much in every direction, but it can't go more than 1 inch in any which way.
So Isaac's jarring it, and it's not going anywhere. And I noticed your hinge, guys. You've got a hinge So you've got it wired right here to that fiberglass post
It's
on
pretty
that.
loose. This is a hot wire,
Yep.
thankfully.
Yeah.
Then, so that can go up
and
as it
down.
needs
Okay,
to.
cool. And here's your feeder wire going on to the fence that goes around the farm.
So right here, another thing we made. So we were thinking if it's down like this and the water levels out to here.
Yeah, it's only 12 inches.
It's only 12 inches high,
Right,
so a calf could get pushed through there or whatever, and then they'd be on the inside of the wire. So we ran another high tensile wire
up here.
to keep
And
them.
that's tied in. So this is also like
Hot.
we just tested it. It's hot as heck.
So you got basically a 30-inch wire and you've got a 12-inch wire.
Yeah.
That's gonna.
Another thing. So how we got the wire to fasten through there. So we ran the wire through, put a crimp like this on the other
end?
side.
Okay.
Yep, on the end like that.
Right there. Okay.
Then we pulled it through, made it tight, and crimped it on the other
So
side.
that was your tightener.
Yep, that's how we tightened.
So you pulled it hand tight and you put one of these crimps on each end to hold that tightness
And then we tied it together with the tail
over
on
there.
the corner to
Okay.
make the whole thing.
So you
continuous.
basically put that wire through there in 3 separate pieces.
Yep. One going down this side,
One going across,
and then one coming back.
So what's the dimensions on this, guys?
So these pipes in between here,
Yep.
in between the T's, they're 5-footers.
Okay.
Each side.
So that's 10.
And then the ends it's about 6 foot each because it's like an 18-foot,
18-foot skirt.
a little bit longer than 18 foot, but so it's like 6 foot in between each over there. So.
Okay.
And we pushed it out basically as far as we felt comfortable, because you just have to imagine, like right now the pond's pretty low, but if it was to get even drier, you still want to have access to the water without having to undo this and shove it out even farther, undo all your posts. So we were thinking, extreme case scenario, we're still on the edge of that big rock over there.
Yep.
And if it really got to it, you could put some more small rock on top of that. I don't know if you can see it on.
Yeah, I can see it.
But if you go any farther, we don't necessarily want to go past the rock, because then there's a potential that.
Folks, I love what I'm seeing here, and the cattle can physically walk about 6 feet out into the water. So how are we going to keep them from doing that as the water fluctuates? And I asked that question, and I want Isaac or Ben, one of you run up that and get a reel and a handle. We're gonna show our predator. We've talked about this in length, because that's a long ways from there out to there. Cows could still stand around here and lounge. And the rock's going to be a little bit uncomfortable. We just don't want the animals out in there. So how are we going to keep them from doing that? We're going to show you in a minute.
We're going to take a poly wire.
Okay.
It'll be our predator. We'll hook it onto this side.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
You've got it right there. So Ben's taking the poly braid. He's going to tie on the handle. Now that handle's cold. Just the handle that comes with every geared reel you buy. And the best reels to buy are the Terragate, and you can get those through Timeless Fence, and I believe Powerflex may carry those. I'm not sure.
Let's put it up here so we don't have to get in the water.
No, let's do it right. Let's do it.
Do it in the water.
Yeah, do it right between those posts, right there. Perfect. Yeah. So we're gonna do it just like they can drink, and then Ben, you can hang it on the other side of that. Right there where that cap is. This is just for show.
Yep.
Don't touch that wire, Ben. Yep. We're talking 10,000 volts. And I would put that one on the other side too.
There's no flex in it, so you got to get it exactly tight enough. You ready?
Yep.
Born ready.
Okay, now you can push that red handle on out just a little bit. Don't touch the wire.
Why not?
Because you're going to get lit up. Okay, so there it is. So now the cows can still drink. They can even get their head down in the water all the way across the front of here. Okay? How many volts you got in there?
10.
10,000 volts. So we've got a skirt that goes all the way across here. And we could move that out just a little bit. Ben and Isaac had a good idea of just taking a piece of poly braid and putting 2 of these handles on, one on each end, and just keep it with the skirt. So as your water level drops, you're not going to be burning a reel.
Yep.
Using to keep, you're not going to have to use a geared reel to keep them out. Just get you a piece of poly braid and 2 of these, Those are $1. You can buy those for $1.
So you'd hook it cold on one end.
Yep.
Then you take it to the other side with the handle, and you'd wrap it around
You wrap it around the wire. Yep. We do that all the time.
Oh yeah, all our creek crossings.
Yeah, creek crossings.
Yep.
That's how it's done.
So we're not going to be using basically with that poly braid and that geared reel. You're looking at $120. If you just got a little piece of poly braid on there, you're looking at less than $1.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, $2. These handles I think are 50 cents or $1, but I like this. This is going to be so cool. So one of the things that Isaac and Ben asked me about was this one was made with 1.5-inch pipe. I'm gonna go to the place that I got all these plumbing fixtures, and I'm gonna price 2-inch, and just see what the difference is between 2-inch PVC and 1.5-inch. The 2-inch PVC is just a little bit more beefy. I think it'd be a little more stouter. We don't know. I think this hot wire is going to keep the cows from manhandling it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing about this whole skirt is it's brand new. Like
yeah.
This was a thought that you had in your head, and we brainstormed to put it together, but we haven't actually had it like working with cattle for an extended period of time. So we're going to learn a bunch once we get the animals in here.
Well, you know, I saw this design probably 25 years ago in an NRCS something, and I went online. I could not find a picture of it anywhere on the web, not a single picture. So now there's going to be a picture. It's going to be this video. If you type in Grey Judy water skirts, you're going to get a hit. But the ones that I saw 25, 30 years ago, on the corners here, I'm not sure how they did their wire. We came up with this. I know they had it tied with a rope in those corners. I didn't like the rope idea because it's going to move too much. It's going to move around, and in a big wind or cows get to pushing on, there's going to be too much movement. Next thing you know, your PVC snapped in two. So Ben and Isaac, you all knocked a home run right here.
Let's hope.
No, I think you did.
I think what we got going for us, like good with this, is it looks really intimidating to a cow.
Yep.
They see that white, and they know white means get shocked. And
so
I think we've got that going.
Well, folks, for those of you all on your own farms, you don't have a pipe in the dam. In other words, you've got an old pond. Folks, this pond is, gosh, it's probably close to 80 years old. Well, look at the size of those oak trees. I mean, you could cut one of them down, which I never would, but I bet there's 80 to 90 rings on that big one up there. So this pond's 80 to 90 years old. It doesn't have a pipe in it. I don't like the cattle destroying the dam. And you could see what they did over here, except for Ben and Isaac already healed it. Let's walk over to show you the rest of your little deal. How are we powering this up? So I guess where I want to go with that is, folks, if you can get a rock skirt in here like this, you can still preserve your pond. You can keep the animals out of it. You have good fishing, super high quality water. Animals are 75 to 80% water. Don't give them crappy water. That's where you're going to get disease and all kinds of crap into your cattle. And keep your water clean.
These are old drinking.
Yeah, this is our old drinking spot right here. Look at this.
From that post.
From right here all the way over to here. Yep.
And they just mudded it. You can see if we pull back.
Pull that hay back right there. Yeah.
Cattle tracks
all over it. All over in there. Yep. Folks, it was so rough in here you'd break an ankle. And of course it looked unsightly. This is a lease farm. It's not the way to make really good impressions with landowners. This is unbelievable. Look at that old pond. It's just beautiful. We've got our fish attractants in there. There's some large cedar trees on all sides of this pond. It is stocked, and several years this is going to be a really nice fishing pond. And so let's go look. How did you all get some power over here?
The birds also really like perching on those too.
The birds like perching on those big cedars?
Yeah.
Well, that's a pretty handy spot for a bird because he can reach down and get him a drink.
Yeah. Watch your head.
Okay. Yeah, we might want to tie a ribbon on that.
So over here is our fence that you made a video on this summer.
Okay, it's got the timeless post on it. Yep.
So we crimped onto there, brought it up into that cedar tree that looks like a telephone pole.
Well, let's go over there and see that people can't visualize. They can see it, they'll understand what we did. So you played lumberjack yesterday.
I played lineman.
Lineman. You climbed this tree, you knocked all the limbs off of it, And then you put an insulator from, well, Ben, whoa, there's that wire right
Watch
there.
ahead here too. So we came in here and did a little hangman to secure with the tension.
Yep.
And then we had a little jumper wire go in and
To there.
crimped it onto our high tension.
Okay. And then this is our timeless fence.
The video from the summer.
Yeah, going up through the cedars here on both directions. You can see it. Still no brush growing on that fence.
I think you're going to be good for a while.
Probably won't be, will there? So
It's
what do you
going
got?
up into the tree, there's an insulator up there. That's
I don't know if you're going
wrapped
to be able to.
around the tree.
Yeah, I can see it. Okay. So from that tree, why'd you get it so high for?
In case somebody wanted to bring a lime truck underneath there.
Like we did the other day?
Ben was saying if you bring a vehicle in here that hits that, we're in trouble.
I don't think a vehicle that big belongs in here.
That is probably 20 feet.
At least.
Yeah, it's up there.
It might be 30. It's
It's
way
up there. It's taller than you, Ben.
A little bit.
Then, yeah,
So-
we ran it over here into the other tree
Okay.
with another insulator.
Okay.
Was it PowerFlex or who's the maker of that?
Those insulators?
Those insulators are from Pell.
Oh.
You can buy those through Powerflex. They're really good insulators, the best ones on the market. And I believe Pell makes them. They got the steel reinforcement. They are made out of high density polyethylene. I've never had one fail. But I noticed, Isaac, you climbed that tree with a ladder.
With a ladder. He didn't
Shimmied
monkey
up
his
there.
way up there.
I guess that would have been even better to have a video of you climbing that tree. But you tied that on with soft galvanized wire, and you left enough room that tree can grow and not get strangled by that wire.
Yep.
And then from there, why'd you put a switch down here for? You got a nice red switch.
Well, the landowner loves to fish, and if he doesn't appreciate getting his fishing pole shocking him, so that's a way for him to be able to shut it off, or us too,
Yeah.
if we need to.
We are going to try to drill that onto that, just screw it onto that post.
Right
Get a
here,
little
so
more
it's
secure.
solid, okay.
Yeah, we just didn't have screws with us when we put it up.
Yeah. If the landowner reaches down and tries to shut that off and gets hit with 10,000
He's
volts,
not going to be happy.
he's going to be an unhappy camper. He might forget about fishing for a while.
Yeah. It also helps us too if we ever need to fix something with that skirt or adjust anything.
You just shut it
it's
off.
really easy to shut
Yeah.
it off and do some work.
So
with it.
there's really advantageous places around the farm, folks, to put a shut off, and fishing ponds are one of them. I like to fish, and if this water's up and I get a hold of a big bass or something, I don't want to be negotiating 10,000 volts
No.
and trying to get my fish in.
Yeah, that's not a good deal.
It's not a good deal. So that's what we did. I think we will put a piece of
yeah, so you can
ribbon
see-
right there on that wire, 'cause I can see hitting it. I smacked that on my face.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wouldn't be fun.
That wouldn't be fun. That would wake you up on a cold morning. So we got the permanent skirt in, we got our high tensile wire all the way around the pond. And we are using solid fiberglass rods for these. I wanted to give a little bit of a plug. We do have a fresh supply of the sucker rod, which is solid fiberglass. They're 5-foot lengths and 6-foot lengths. They're 1.25 inch diameter. And you drive one of those in the ground, 2 to 3 feet, you've got a corner post. So if you've got a project where you're going around woods or like this around ponds, we highly recommend those solid fiberglass
Yeah.
rods.
Those are all 5 and 6 footers around these bends.
Yep,
They're plenty sturdy
plenty
enough
stout, plenty
to
stout.
take a corner.
Yep. And on the other pond back there, we use the timeless post in between
Yep.
the solid fiberglass. So it's a really durable fence.
That's the winning combination right there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Timeless and then the sucker rod corners.
yeah. Yeah, they're stout. They're not going to give. And we're actually going to be doing a video here in the next month or so showing where we're using sucker rod 6-footers to make H braces for like sheep fence where you can pull 3 to 4 wires. And so that's coming up. But I'm tickled to death this skirt. The boys, Ben and Isaac, you all did a great job. And I'm tickled to death with it. I just can't wait to see cows drink from it.
No.
Yeah, I know.
Be excited.
They're not going to be in here for a while.
I know,
That's the problem.
I know. But we got a bunch of...
We got the other one.
We got another one that they're going to be using. We got to get the PVC pipe into it. And so give me a breakdown again on the caps and the tees and all that.
It's 8 tees,
Okay?
10 caps,
Okay.
and 4 elbows.
And 4 elbows.
You got an elbow on each corner,
Yep.
Okay.
and it's
The
10
wide- yeah.
by like 18.
10 by 18.
Yep.
So we were saying a 20-foot section of pipe, another 20-foot for the 210s.
Yep.
And then each riser
Yep.
coming up is 12 inches.
Yep.
So and there's 10 of them, and so that's another 10 feet.
Another 10 feet.
So 2 20s and a 10-foot.
2 20s and a 10. An inch and a half is what this is.
Yep. And we're looking at pricing out 2 inch.
See
Yep.
what that looks like.
I noticed that you all did use primer. You primed all your
Yeah.
joints with a PVC primer, which is a real plus. You don't want to put a glue joint together without primer.
Especially if you need it to be airtight.
Yes. So that thing's tight. It's just like a boat, you know. It's not gonna sink. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and sign off here. Everybody new to the channel, hit that subscribe button on the way out if you would, and that like button. And we're gonna see you all down the road.